Okay, it's 3 o'clock. It's October 2nd, 2025. I'll call the Stark County Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to order. The records show that we have two members missing, Mr. Rock White and Dr. Bear are missing for the agenda, for our attendance. Then we'll call it the minutes we have then from July 31st, 2025. Is there any corrections to the minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the minutes.
A motion approved. I have a second.
I'll second.
A second. All in favor, state aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Chairman Franchuk, there was Steve Josephson, County Planner. I just wanted to address something real quick before we go to our first public hearing. And it was something we talked about before the meeting started. We will be cautioning all of our applicants from here on in that there are people out there who are they're doing phishing. They are sending things to our applicants saying that they owe more money for their applications than they actually do. They are sending them out and asking them to pay via wire transfer. Stark County does not accept wire transfers. So I understand a similar situation has been going on with the city where people are trying to scam P&Z applicants by sending out these fake bills. So I just wanted to make you all aware of that. I understand Chairman Franchuk talked to our IT people. There's really nothing that we can do on our end to try and stop those. So we will we'll post on our website. And when I counsel people, I will advise them, these are the only payments you're going to be responsible for: your application fees, the certified letters, and if there is any review by an engineering firm for, like, say, a subdivision review, those are the only things. Do not respond to any attempts to collect fees via wire transfer, and to contact the county as soon as you see those. I have been sending them on to other people in the county so that they're aware of this. But I just wanted to bring that up and to advise the Planning and Zoning Commission of that also.
Okay, yeah, you want to make sure the public's aware of that, because this last one, I think they were asking for a wire transfer of $2,800, so.
Okay.
This is the second time that I'm aware of this has occurred, so kind of keep an eye on that so that doesn't happen. If anybody gets anything like that, to be sure and call us, and that way we can be aware of it. Thank you. Okay, the agenda, is there any change to the agenda, Mr. Josephson, or?
Chairman Franchuk, commissioners, no, we had talked about something. We're going to go ahead. I did have a conversation with the state's attorney, so we are still going to go ahead with item 6, public hearing for item 6. No, there are no changes to the agenda as you have in front of you.
Okay, I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda then. So moved. You have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. So then we'll move into the agenda then to the public hearing for RZ 0625 for CDP Construction Incorporated is requesting rezoning from agricultural to rural residential for approximately 5-acre property legally described as Track A, located in the northwest quarter of Section 7, Township 139 North, Range 93 West in Stark County, North Dakota. Is there someone here representing them? CDB Construction, or?
Jeremy Wood, Northern Plains Engineering. Representing the applicant. It's really two things. I think the first thing is the rezoning. The applicant is looking at rezoning from ag to RR for construction of a single-family residence, which I believe it fits all the zoning codes, so
Okay,
stand for any questions.
okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, I'm gonna open up the public hearing then. Does anybody from the public have any comment for this request for rezoning from agriculture rural residential? Anybody from the public have any comment for or against this request? Anybody from the public have any comment? Not, I'm gonna close the public hearing then. Mr. Joseph, your recommendations on this?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Franchuk, Commissioners. Steve Josephson, Stark County Planning and Zoning Director. As was stated, this is a rezoning from agriculture to rural residential so that these folks can develop it with a single-family residence. Just to go on the record, this came up because this had been submitted through the permitting process and had not been rezoned, which is why it's in front of you today. The staff finding is, let me just back up a little bit. So in our long-range comprehensive plan, this area is designated as prime agricultural land, where the recommendation was for much larger lots than this. However, if you go out there and you see that property, it's already been developed. There are already buildings out there. Nothing is really being disturbed by creating a 5-acre lot and building a house on it. There are already houses on the property. And it's not going to introduce any uses that would interfere with the existing uses that are out there right now. I have advised the applicants that this is kind of a one-off, and I think it's like, the property owners just wanted to sell this so that a house could be built on it for family members, and they don't really have any other intentions of doing any other development in that area. Staff recommends approval, subject to the findings in the staff report, and I am here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Joseph? Not, I'll look for a motion on this matter then.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the recommended RZ 0625 as presented by Mr. Josephson.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, that is a roll call vote then. Commissioner Larson,
Aye.
Commissioner Goldsmith,
Aye.
Commissioner Freilich,
Aye.
Commissioner Nicholas,
Aye.
Commissioner Riddle,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion carried. Okay, next item on our agenda is a public hearing for MSP 0625 for Seed BD Construction. Incorporated is requesting approval of minor subdivision plat for the Zillick subdivision for approximately 5-acre property legally described as Track A, located in the northwest quarter of Section 7, Township 139, Range 93 West in Stark County. This is the same property on is looking for a minor subdivision plat. I'm going to open up the public hearing then. Is there anybody from the public hearing, any comment for or against this request for a minor subdivision plat? Anybody from the public have any comment? Anyone from the public have any comment on this subdivision? Hearing none, recommendation, Mr. Josephson.
Thank you, Chairman Franchuk, Commissioner Steve Josephson, County Planning and Zoning Director. We did, as we do with all subdivision plats, we sent this out to one of our consulting engineers for review. There were some very minor comments, extremely minor comments, which the applicant covered in the plat that's part of the plat map that's part of your package. This also meets the requirements of Chapter 7.3 for minor subdivision plats in the zoning ordinance. So based upon the findings in the staff report, Staff recommends approval, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Mr. Josephson? Not, I'll look for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we recommend approval of MSP 0625 as presented.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
A second. Okay, roll call vote. Commissioner Goldsmith,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Freilich,
Aye.
Commissioner Nicholas,
Aye.
Commissioner Larson,
Aye.
Commissioner Riddle.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carried.
Just a reminder, Mr. Chair, that these are going to be going forward for final approval to the county commission
Right.
next
That'll be
month, next Tuesday.
next week, Tuesday, yes, the 7th, I believe that is. Okay. Next, we have a public hearing for CUP 0325, Fisher Sand and Gravel is requesting conditional use permit for a gravel pit with crushing and stockpiling located in the west one half of the southwest quarter of the north 2/3 of section 15, township 140 north, range 95, and the southeast quarter of the north 2/3 of section 16, township 140, range 95 in Stark County, North Dakota, containing approximately 156 acres. The actual mining site will approximately be 41 acres in the area. Is there someone you're representing Fisher Industries?
Vent Wallace, Fisher Sand and Gravel Company.
And this is a gravel pit that's probably adjacent to the one that's existing, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any questions for Mr. Wallace? Not, I'm gonna open the public hearing then, or does anybody have any comment for or against this conditional use permit request? Anybody from the public have any comment for or against this conditional use permit for Fisher Sand and Gravel? Again, anybody have any comment for this request? Hearing none, I'm gonna close the public hearing then. Mr. Joseph, your recommendations on this?
Yes, Chairman Franchuk, Commissioner, Steve Josephson, Planning and Zoning Director. I wanted, before we go into this, I wanted to, our weed officer is here today, and just wanted to see if Mr. Jepson had any comments, about he has been working with Fisher on a weed plan to see if he had any comments to offer to the Planning and Zoning Commission at this time.
Travis Jepson, Stark County Weed Control Officer. We've been working with Fisher for years on weed management plans on their properties that they do sand and gravel work on. And this one is directly adjacent to an existing property that they already do that on. So to spare us reinventing the wheel on this, I think we just wrap the weed management plan from the previous property, this one into that one, and we can go from there. It's 40 acres. They're already super responsible with the weed management plan that they're currently using. So I have no issue with just expanding that one. Any questions?
Any
for me?
questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jepson. Staff has reviewed this. We've reviewed this against the requirements in the zoning ordinance for conditional use permits as well as the ones for gravel pits and excavation. Staff does recommend approval subject to the conditions that you would find on page 3 and 4 of this, of the staff report. One of the things that we did ask is that they provide a bond of $100,000. We base that upon what Dunn County charges for gravel pit bonds. And the applicant has agreed that they'll provide that bond to the county after the county commission approves this. So staff recommends this based upon the conditions in the staff report and the findings in the staff report, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Now I'll look for a motion then.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve application CUP 0325.
A motion approved. I have a second.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that motion.
I have a second. Any other discussion? Okay, the roll call vote then. Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Freilich,
Aye.
Commissioner Nicholas,
Aye.
Commissioner Goldsmith,
Aye.
Commissioner Larson,
Aye.
Commissioner Riddle.
Aye.
The chair votes aye, motion carried. And this will go before our meeting on Tuesday morning for final approval then. Okay. Next, we'll move on to public hearing for ZTA 0525 proposed amendments to Article 6, additional provisions of the Stark County, North Dakota zoning ordinance regarding banquet hall and reception halls. Mr. Josephson.
Thank you, Chairman Franchuk. Commissioner Steve Josephson, Planning and Zoning Director. If you remember, this came in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission several weeks ago. A couple of the Planning and Zoning Commissioners had some comments, and we all sat down and went through and crafted some standards, some development standards that people who come in and apply for this conditional use permit would use when they would apply, and it gives them guidance as to what the county would expect, and also guidance in terms of putting an application together and actually operating one of these facilities. This is allowed in both the agricultural and the commercial zoning districts, just for a little clarification. So anyway, staff recommends approval of the proposed zoning code amendment that you have before you, and I am here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? If not, I'm going to open the public hearing. Anybody have any comment on this proposed amendments to the ordinance regarding banquet halls and reception halls? Anybody from the public have any comment on this amendment? Anybody have any comment for the for or against this amendments proposal? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing then. And look for a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve ZTA 0525 as proposed.
Okay, have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. Any other discussion? Not, then roll call. Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Larson,
Aye.
Commissioner Riddle,
Aye.
Commissioner Freilich,
Aye.
Commissioner Nicholas,
Aye.
Commissioner Goldsmith.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carried. And we move to public hearing for ZTA 0625 for proposed amendments to section 8.10 violations and penalty of the Stark County, North Dakota zoning ordinance. Mr. Josephson on this.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Franchuk. Commissioner Steve Josephson, Stark County Planner. This had also come to Planning and Zoning Commission a number of weeks ago, and it's adding some procedures and how to deal with people who are in zoning code violation, and the process the county would go about, to notify with them and work with them to bring their, to remedy the zoning code violations on their property. So there were some procedures put in place, giving people a sufficient amount of time to try and remedy this, and then after that, measures that the county would take in terms of fines and potential, criminal procedures against them. And I'd like to ask our state's attorney, Engelstadt, she had some comments that she wanted to read into the record about this.
I don't think, thanks, Steve. I don't think that any of my comments are really necessary for the Planning and Zoning Commission Board. But I did talk with Mr. Josephson just about the criminal portion of it. And my comment to him was just that if we are getting into a position where we're looking at things like that, I would like him to contact me, because it'll probably need to be law enforcement led, because if we're looking at a criminal case, evidence that is received has to be done in a certain way, so we don't run into constitutional violations and things like that. So that was really just my concern, not at all really with the writing of the ordinance, but more so just comments for Mr. Josephson in the event we get to that unfortunate position. So.
And quite honestly, most of the code violations we deal with, they're not that complicated. Most of the time, people aren't aware of the fact that they are actually in code violation, but there might be some very serious instances of this where from the get-go, we coordinate with the state's attorney's office and law enforcement. Let's cross our fingers and hope we don't have many of those, but those may well come up. So it would be make sure it would be a coordinated effort. So anyway, this was another thing where I had staff had met with both Commissioner Claris and Larson to go through some of the language, and what you have before you is the language that we had worked on together. Staff recommends approval, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Josephson, I would just curious, what is currently the process and how does this modify what you're doing at present? Thank you.
This actually puts into words what we typically do. So if we find somebody who is in code violation, we will send them a letter and we'll give them a certain period of time in order to comply. And then if they don't, then we send them a second letter, a reminder of that. And we tend to be fairly generous in the amount of time that we give people to remedy things. Sometimes we find is that if we say you have a certain period of time to do this, sometimes because we do this by mail, sometimes mail is pretty slow, and they will get these letters after the compliance date. So we still try to be flexible, but at least it's out here in writing. It's pretty much a similar procedure.
Okay, any other questions? If not, I'm gonna open the public hearing then. Anybody have for the public have any comment on the proposed amendments, the violation and penalties for section 8.10? Anybody for the public have any comment? Anybody from the public have any comment on these proposed amendments? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing then. Okay, I'll look for a motion then on this.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we accept this ZTA 0625.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Any other discussion? Not then roll call. Mr. Goldsmith,
Aye.
Mr. Nicholas, Commissioner Nicholas, Commissioner Freilich,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris,
Aye.
Commissioner Larson,
Aye.
Commissioner Riddle,
Aye.
and chair votes aye, motion carried. Next, Mr. Joseph, we have some planning items. The first one is, it has to deal with Norwegian Creek vacation.
Yes, Chairman Franchuk, Commissioners. The reason I bring this up is because we had somebody who bought, if you're not familiar with Norwegian Creek, it was an industrial subdivision that was created back in 2012. Large number of lots on it. I think people had anticipated with the boom that there was going to be a lot of development in there. Many of the lots have stayed vacant. There is a farmer in the area who purchased up most of the vacant lots in Norwegian Creek. And what he wants to do is, once he found out that they were zoned industrial and he found out what the assessment was on them, he wanted to rezone them to agriculture. And to do that, because these lots are smaller and you need 40 acres for agriculture, you need to actually vacate the lots in the subdivision. These have typically just come to the county commission. In a case like this, I mean, this is going to radically change the nature of what the subdivision is going to look like. I know that in other communities, vacation of platted lots in a subdivision actually go in front of a planning and zoning commission for a hearing. We do not have that in our zoning ordinance. However, given the magnitude of this, I thought that this might be a good thing to bring to the Planning and Zoning Commission, I guess either as a workshop, just so that you all are aware of it, and perhaps provide some guidance to the county commissioner, or at the very least, that the two county commissioners who sit on the Planning and Zoning Commission would know enough about it, would know a fair amount about this before it goes to county commission. Because sometimes what happens if it goes to county commission and it hasn't been discussed, it takes longer, it takes a while. So this would be for informative purposes. I don't know if this is something that you're interested in doing a workshop on. What I also don't know is whether or not this is something the Planning and Zoning Commission would be interested in actually holding a public hearing on. And again, I'm not sure because it's in the code if it doesn't say you can hold a public hearing on, if it doesn't have that in there, if you could go ahead and do that anyway. But if you saw the amount of land that's being done and it basically changes the nature of this subdivision. So I'm just here to put this in front of you to see if the applicant is also planning to come in with 2 rezoning applications. Of course, the rezoning applications would be contingent upon those lots being vacated, and I believe they're going to try to get to I think it's the October 31st Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. But I just wanted to bring this up and see if there was an interest in me bringing this before the Planning and Zoning Commission, just so you're aware of this. And maybe it's an educational thing. Maybe you want to hold a public hearing. I'm not certain, but it's going to it could potentially affect those people who already own land and have, and are operating in Norwegian Creek. So I'm just here to get a consensus from the Planning and Zoning Commission if you want me to go ahead and put this on the agenda, either as a workshop item or potential public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, can I just ask a question? of
Sure,
Steve?
go ahead.
Steve, can you clarify how many acres we're talking about?
Oh, it's well over 100 acres, probably more
And
than that.
are there lots within this subdivision that are already occupied by houses?
Well, not by houses. Those would not be vacated. All these are vacant lots right
So
now.
we're not
but
picking and choosing within this subdivision?
No.
It's like a block area out and away from.
It's a large area, but again, I was thinking it would be a good thing to bring the planning and zoning, just because I know that there were people who were on the Planning and Zoning Commission when this was platted and rezoned, and this basically changes. No, they're not going to be intermittent blocks that are being left out. I know on one of the streets, there are like 3 blocks that this person didn't purchase. And we've talked about the fact that they have to preserve the ability for those people to access those lots. But this would be fairly significant if they went ahead and vacated those lots, which is why I'm offering to the Planning and Zoning Commission whether you want to see this on an agenda, at least as a workshop item.
Clarification.
I think it probably should be on there because I'm thinking, like you said, to have a public hearing so these other landowners are fully aware of this, and have the opportunity that are involved in this vacation or the area, they already own property in that area.
Mr. Chair, for clarification, Norwegian Creek is south of Belfield.
Right. South
On
of
the
Bell-
east side of-
East side of Highway 85, yep.
Okay.
And just for clarification, they don't have to come to the county planning and zoning to vacate this subdivision.
No, they don't, but I'm thinking that might be worth a subdivision, a zoning code amendment in the future.
Well, this definitely would be unique because of its layout, so I agree with the chairman that I think it should come before the planning and zoning for further review.
I guess what I would like to see is the current zoning map of it.
Right.
And then with an overlay of if it is vacated, what it then looks like. Because I've driven by that numerous times. We've all driven by it.
There's
And
no,
right now, my mind is showing some pieces here, pieces there.
I believe the land he purchased, there's some easements in there, but there's no actual roads, right?
Yeah, that's, I had asked about that, and when this was done, and this is not typical with a subdivision, with subdivision roads are typically dedicated, but in the case of this plat, the roads that are in there are easements. So,
Mr. Josephson, has a vacation of this magnitude been submitted previously?
not that I'm aware of. There was, and I know, I think Commissioner Franchuk remembers this. A few years ago, in the same vicinity on the west side of the road, there was that Richard subdivision where some of the lots had already been purchased and the owner wanted to vacate them. Similar reason, he was paying taxes on agricultural property. He had some agricultural property next door. He wanted to combine the two of them. That was a case where there actually was a dedicated, right of way, and they had to vacate both that and those lots in order to combine them. So that was much smaller than this. This is fairly large, and nothing's been submitted yet, but if anybody wants to come by my office after the meeting, I will show you what they're proposing to do.
I think it would be wise to have it on the agenda for next meeting, to have a review of it, just for information, than anything.
I think that's the sense of the board here, so we have it on there, so. Okay,
Do you want it on just as an educational, like a workshop?
actually, public hearing, I think, and then probably these landowners should be notified that are involved in this.
Yeah, I know my thought was that I would send out courtesy letters, but if we do public hearing, and I'd have to ask the state's attorney, can the Planning and Zoning Commission request a public hearing for this?
I'd have to look at the statute, but I don't see any reason why you couldn't. Yeah, I don't know why you'd be restricted from doing that.
Okay. I have advised the property owner and his surveyor that my intention was to go to the Planning and Zoning Commission today and ask if they wanted to put this on the agenda. And if that's the case, it would go on the same agenda as the proposed rezonings.
Okay,
All right,
Just
thank
one more-
you. Thanks for
one
the direction.
yes.
One more question. So if it comes to the Planning and Zoning Board, a public hearing, and there's some action, it's basically a recommendation that would go to the county commission then, correct?
Right, it's. Okay, any other questions? If not, then next item on the planning agenda is the draft tables.
Yes, commissioners, I was going to provide this and then I got hung up on some other things. I've been working on something that I think would be helpful for the public. One of them is I'm putting together a table that has development standards for our zoning districts. And it would have things on there like minimum lot sizes, minimum setbacks, maximum height. And this would be something that can be posted online or given to people when they come in for counseling or if they come in for a building permit, so that it's, they don't have to go thumbing through the zoning ordinance. The other thing I've been working on, which has been a little more complex, is putting together a matrix of uses that where we actually have the uses coming down the left side of the page and on the top, the different zoning districts, and then designating on there if it's a permitted use or if it requires a conditional use. And again, that would be something to provide to the public. Again, so if somebody says, on this property, can I do this use? Instead of having to thumb through our zoning code, it would be right there. I was hoping to have those available for today's meeting, but I plan to have them available for at least drafts available for the next meeting. I think anything that we can do to help most of the public, they're not really familiar with zoning and zoning codes. And I think anything that we can provide that will help them to navigate through this process, would be helpful.
Sounds
So
good.
I will provide those drafts, at least of those, at our next meeting. In fact, if I get them done, I just may email them to you, for you to look at. If, for those of you, like, I know Commissioner Franchuk is on the city's Planning and Zoning Commission, and I know in the city's zoning ordinance, they actually have a matrix of uses in zoning districts. So I'm not proposing to put this in the zoning code. It would be just something that's unadopted, but for guidance. And I think it'd be good for our developers and the public to know upfront, this is what the these are what the requirements are.
Okay. Any questions on that? Next, we have our next meeting was scheduled in the week of Thanksgiving. I guess Mr. Joseph's not available that week, so I guess we're looking at a different date. Probably you're thinking you had some ideas on that, Mr. Joseph.
Right, and what I was thinking was, I'm going to be, just to let you know, I'm going to be out of the office from like the 16th of November for about 2-week period of time. And I was looking at a calendar and I think one of the meetings that I was looking at was going into December. Let me pull up my calendar real quickly, because one of the dates I had looked at was the 18th of December. And the reason I bring that up is because there will be 2 county commission meetings in December. There's going to be, one, the regularly scheduled one on December the 2nd. But then there's going to be another one I believe it's on the 29th of December, and that's when you have that's when the tax reconciliation meeting is. So it means that people who apply, who do apply in November will be able to get to a planning and zoning commission and a county commission meeting before the end of the year. So I was actually looking at either the 11th of December or the 18th of December for our next planning and zoning commission meeting. The 11th may actually work better because the next scheduled planning and zoning commission meeting after that is going to be January 1st. But we'll leave it up to commissioners which date they think would work better.
We'll still have the one on the 30th though, too, of October, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's not taking the place of this. No, I just wanted to get this done ahead of time, so I can change schedules and whatever and make everyone aware of that.
Mr. Chair, on the December 11th, I do know I already have a conflict on
Okay.
December 11th.
About the 18th, how does that look for you?
Bring my calendar.
Either day.
I'm good on that.
We'll schedule then for now for December 18th then for that one.
Okay, and I'll explain that to the applicants, my concern was just that these get to the county commission sometime before the end of the year.
Okay. So then our next meeting will be on the 30th of October, then we'll skip the November one and be on the 18th of December, right?
Okay. And let's see, I don't think that I have, it says other, but I don't think I have an other. I think you've probably had to sit through enough of what I've had to present to you, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to bring some of these issues up and get some guidance. So I have no other items.
Will you send me an email on that Norwegian Creek vacation, just to make sure I have it, and so I can answer you in writing, so I don't forget about it?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Yes, certainly I'll do that. And like I said, if anybody wants to come by and see what the applicant is proposing, just come to my office after the meeting is over and I'll show you. It's not official, so it's not on the record, but I just want to show you what they're proposing.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to have a second.
Second.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.